Welcome to day number 30. Today's meditation, really painful. That hurt a lot. So I'm just trying to feel like what wants to come through, and whenever we're in life and we're faced with this illusion of I don't know. Most of the time, the I don't know is I don't want to say it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go in that direction. I don't want to, feel those feelings. What I mean is like all the time, we always know deep down. It's just like we are afraid of that knowing. We're afraid of that truth. And we're afraid to express that maybe. Like in my case, maybe this video. Or in your case, in your life, maybe it's with a relationship, some type of thing you're doing that's out of alignment. We always know. The thing is, just start following the truth. Just start speaking the truth so that the truth can come through you. And that's what is hard sometimes. It's hard to just start, right? It's hard to start speaking your truth, or it's hard to start following your truth, or it's hard to start letting go of something if that's your truth. But once we let the truth start flowing through, then it becomes a movement of its own, and that's when that's how we really let go of the personal will and that egoic will, and we let the truth start living through us as us. And so that's at the beginning of this video. It's sometimes it's hard for me to just start. You just kind of. You're going to start in a flawed way. You're going to start with your ego. But the more you just keep speaking the truth, the more the ego can kind of get out of the way. And the more the truth can just start taking over and speaking through you. Or maybe it's painting through you. Or maybe it's dancing through you. When you go to start dancing, maybe in public, at first there might be a little bit of that nervousness, right? A little bit of that, what's everyone thinking of me? But the more you keep dancing, the more the truth of the movement can just start flowing through you, and the more that everyone else around you disappears. Or if you're a writer, right when you sit down, the first words you're writing, that there may be so much resistance. You may be like, this is not good. This, or you might have that inner critic going crazy saying you're not a good enough writer to do this. You should just stop writing. But I guarantee, and if you've kept going beyond that, you get into this place where you're just in this flow of writing, and the truth is just writing through you, and that critic is just dissolves, And I'm sure, I haven't experienced this, but I'm sure it's the same with painting or working with an animal. I see this with my mom a lot with her horses. At first there might be some frustration, there might be some disconnect with the animal, but as she spends more time with them, as she continues to open her heart to them, as she continues to let go of her inner critic of why she's not good enough to train them, or why these horses are just too overwhelming for her to be able to teach, as she starts just being with them more, those voices in her start to dissolve, and then she just becomes, it becomes this like symbiotic movement with the horses. They kind of merge into the same energy, and then that's when really special things can happen, because that's when she's allowing the truth of who she is, that very amazing horse trainer that is connected to her source, that is connected to her truth, that starts coming through her, and she lets go of the inner critic. And that is a big thing with these videos when I'm going deep into telling you guys about the pain. There is always that hesitation, because I'm like, do I really want to let the truth up? And that hesitation comes from that part in all of us that, do we really want to let go of control fully? Because I think there's a little part in all of us that thinks, if I let go of control fully, I can see how that would create such an abundant and expansive life. But will I be around to enjoy any of it if I fully let go? Who will be here to actually enjoy it? That egoic thought. And so yesterday I was in big time achiever mode. I woke up with just an abundance of creative energy. I wrote a blog, I shot a video, I did an Instagram post. at Kundalini Diaries if you're interested. And then I got like hyper focused on how to maximize my results, right? So I avoid like YouTube SEO stuff. I avoid like tags, like how to do it right. And yesterday I just did like this deep dive and I got super obsessive over it. And I was like my inner perfectionist came up. That part of me that feels the need to control things, right? To make certain outcomes come true so that I can feel good about myself. It really showed its face to me yesterday in a very powerful way. And it was interesting to see like, well, I know that this is blocking me from receiving, yet it's still such a powerful movement in me. And why is that? And I'm starting to realize it's because it's such a comfortable movement that, oftentimes we underestimate how safe and comfortable we feel in lack and how safe and comfortable it feels to be, kind of smaller than we know we could be. Because we know when we expand that there's so much that comes with that. And there's so many negative and limiting beliefs that we'll have to let go of if we want to experience that expansion. And so this has been an interesting one on my journey. And today, as I was meditating, that last half hour, so much pain was coming up. And I was just keeled over, basically in child's pose. It really reminded me of my first week of these meditations. And all these inner arguments just started coming up, just arguments with random people. And I was just like lost in these arguments. Like I was saying this and then they would respond with something and then I would say, and I was just like spinning out in all of these places. And I realized that's the part of me that wants control, is the part of me that needs results to be a certain way and that needs people to understand me in a certain way and that needs people to be a certain way for my story to feel okay. It's the part of me that still doesn't trust, It's the part of me that still is hanging on and clinging for control, that is still being drugged with my nails in the sand as life just drags me into evolving, drags me into letting go of all these limiting beliefs. That's the part that comes up in the last half hour of these meditations when it becomes really painful. And the other thing I've noticed is that last half hour when it's, actually for the whole meditation, for the whole 2 hours, if I spend it in the mind, in story, in fantasizing, in reflecting, in contemplating, that 2 hours can feel like infinity, can feel like eternity, like it's never gonna end. Like I'll be sitting there sometimes spinning out in my mind thinking, God, this has to have been at least 4 hours, like dead serious. But if I go into these meditations and just let go and I go deep into my space of awareness, and if I just let go into my energetic subtle body, these meditations go by like that, to where I'm like, was that 20 minutes or 2 hours? Like, did I even set my timer right? And it's like an incredible phenomena how psychological time becomes so hard to endure during these meditations at a certain point. Whereas if we just let go into the timeless realm of your space of being, of your pure consciousness, of the energetic subtle body, the ethereal body, it's just like time doesn't even exist and it's just gone. And it's really something when I'm sitting there suffering in pain, I know I have the choice. I know I have the choice to let go of my excruciating pain. Well, not really let go of it, but just open to it and surrender into the space of being and allow the time to melt away, almost what would feel like instantly. Or I can sit in the mind and continue to feel the pain and continue to suffer. And it's so fascinating how much of me still chooses when I'm in pain in a meditation to be in the mind, to be in the excruciating pain, and just refuses and resists just letting go. I know in those moments when there's I can feel like 30 to 45 minutes left and I'm in a tremendous amount of pain, I know that if I'll just let go and allow and open and let myself fall back into my space of being, into the depths of my soul, into my energetic subtle body, I know the time will pass like that. But there's still something that pulls me away from that and keeps me experiencing the pain in in my mind. And I feel like sometimes we need to experience a certain amount of pain. That our soul actually says, no, I want you to be with this pain right now. Because it's that pain, it's the excruciating pain, and I think that planet Earth is experiencing that. I think human beings on Earth are experiencing this right now. If we're in excruciating pain and we're in the mind experiencing it, we know we have to expand to become something greater, to be able to withstand the pain. That's what a kundalini awakening does to us. All of that energy, all of that pain, all of that trauma, that fear, that searing anger, that the pain that we didn't even know a human had the capacity to handle, it literally forces us out of our mind, right? It forces us into something to experience life from a completely different and greater and more expansive perspective. It forces us to realize that we are not our mind. The pain forces us to realize that the mind is not a master and that it's just a machine. If we didn't experience all of this pain, then we might just stay in the mind the rest of our lives. And that's what's happening on planet Earth right now. So many people are experiencing this pain and this fear and this worry and this uncertainty and the unknown from the place of the mind. And as you know, on a spiritual awakening, a kundalini awakening, trying to experience it all through the mind can be it is impossible. That's why a spiritual awakening evolves us into expanding into what we really are so quickly. It's the pain. I mean, that's how it was for me. And that's what's happening during my meditations. I'm realizing I can sit here and experience the last 30 minutes of this excruciating pain in my mind, or there's a choice to let go into something greater and to allow the pain and to stop resisting it. And also knowing that when I'm not making that choice, it's probably for a reason. And when we see others around us suffering and in pain, and we just know, like, if they just had my perspective, they wouldn't be in so much pain. That's true. But also, how did you gain? How did you come into your perspective? It was through the pain that you're watching them go through. So whenever someone else is in pain, yes, it's beautiful to maybe try to help where you can, but also know that the pain on earth right now has its value. The pain people are feeling has its value. The fear that people are going through has its value. The universe is trying to create something new through all of us. The universe, that's what all the stress is about. All the stress on earth right now is the universe is like, all right, guys, guess what? We're going to go up a little bit. We're going to evolve. We're going to higher everyone's consciousness on earth. The collective's consciousness is going to raise. But how did that happen for you on your journey? Through a lot of pain, through a lot of suffering, through a lot of confusion, through a lot of moments where you were at your breaking point on your knees, thinking you couldn't take it for another moment. And so many people are going to find themselves in that situation as their external circumstances collapse, as they're letting go of everything that they ever thought that was important to them. And that's what these meditations do. They take me sometimes today to where I just can't take this meditation for one more minute. But that is where the magic is happening. That is where I am letting go of something so heavy, and that's when I'm just like starting to see who I really am in a deeper way, and it's really helpful. So yeah, that's what happened today. We sit down and we just start speaking the truth, and then we let the truth come through. And I hope that resonates for you guys. Thank you for watching. Day 30. Namaste.